Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hands. Last we left off, our coterie, the Dead Man's Hand, Primogen of the Arlington Domain, as a group, rounded up an individual by the name of Kyra Hardin. And upon capturing Kyra, learned that a member of their domain, Madame, a thin blood, was being escorted to the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. Upon realizing this, and knowing that there is really one highway entrance into the airport proper to begin the whole roundabout of the whole thing, the coterie decided to stage a rescue. A rescue that went successfully. Alex having been shot, and Anna attempting to use her powers to overpower the driver and get things to a more, to a state in which they had the advantage. Eventually, they reached the back of the vehicle, slayed the remaining Second Inquisition member, and rescued Madame from their clutches, only to realize that she was torpid, and that rousing her with their own blood didn't seem to do the trick immediately, as one would expect. But in the week's time since then, she has regained consciousness. I suppose that's what the closest thing that a thin blood kindred who heals like a human would at the speed a human would might consider torpor. Unconsciousness. She's not on her feet as of yet, but awake. And perhaps awaiting the help of others to have some sort of feeding, as the hunger has been creeping up. Luckily enough, she's been sustained so far. But that does bring two of our members of the Dead Man's Hand coterie together, as I'm sure there's maybe some cleanup to do, maybe some information gathering to do, maybe some damage control, just to gauge how much this might have impacted their domain, if at all, and what to do next, given that they have individuals to question, Madame and Kyra. So, Shriek and Anna, you have arrived at the shop, kind of using one of the sort of corners of the room, a very quiet corner, to conduct your own business very quietly. Alex isn't home, otherwise she would escort you all upstairs into her apartment instead, but for now, you're near the shop, having met up here, out of sight.
Well, we can be thankful for small favors, I guess. I end up making a point to flag Anna down. After all, I don't want to end up staying here too long. All of a sudden, have Alex's books just get chewed on. Doesn't end well.
When I see Shriek, I rise to my feet and, seeming to put something down onto the table, Shriek might notice it was a small little black spider. Crabbish appearance, jumps off, crawls into a book.
I'm not paying for that.
No. Alex has already said she would.
Well, I'm pretty sure anything that she has to offer you is already half eaten. How are you doing, girlie?
I've calmed down.
Good.
I think it's more appropriate that I ask how you're doing. And how Madame has been doing. Both of you.
Speaking of which, I do need rouse checks for the evening.
Is correct.
Oh, shit.
Would you require that from me as well, or are you not going to make me...
Nah, I'm not gonna make you do it.
Okay.
Shriek is getting a little hungrier. But Anna, you're about to
Don't
say...
look at my sheet. Don't look at my sheet.
Do you need to feed, my dear? Is that on the agenda?
It is.
Yeah.
3 hunger. 3 hunger, 3 aggravated still.
Okay. For free, Shriek, go ahead and feel free to take one of those off. One of those aggravated.
Yay!
Over this week period of time, you'll have healed at least one of those.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll give you that for free. So.
No, thank you. Well, still putting myself back together.
Your finger. Do you mind if I... And Anna... Surprisingly, she actually has just like a small little, like, essentially just bandages in her purse, and they're like dollar store bandages. She pulls one out and just hands it to Shriek. It's gonna help. You can just wrap
That's
it to one finger.
almost adorable. You're a dork! That's what you are. Little psychotic, gothy dork. Hey. He kind of just looks at it and well, his skin is now covering and all that. The organs are still all mashed up. And, there's certain things that don't move quite right. But that's probably appropriate for Shriek because he's never moved quite right. But outside of going out for a bite, I think I'll be fine. Just gotta keep bringing it all back together. It's just too much fun. Besides, at this point, I'm more worried about Maytag suddenly showing up.
Kane. He hasn't been around at all.
Yeah. Missing Primogen. Sound familiar? But I'm not looking for him, I can guarantee you that. I go looking for him, and then we're gonna have 2 missing Primogen. I can almost guarantee that. Just how it's gonna go. And I just absolutely need to end up making sure that the face of this beloved coterie ends up maintaining intact. For the good of the Camarilla.
If you want, I can go ahead and keep tabs on him. Figure out where it is that he's been spending his nights. And
Anna, I don't want you anywhere near him. 411? He's dangerous. He knows it. He's angry. And he's currently has something that I don't. He knows where I live. I mean, I checked on the pair of masked vandals he ended up leaving in my place, and they seemed fat and happy. I didn't think it was possible for a raccoon to gain weight when being left alone locked in an apartment, but there it is.
It is kind of
Also,
fun to watch them
raccoons.
kind of look like they're washing their hands with the grubs that they find on the floor.
Yeah, that's great, except that I cannot figure out how the hell to get them litter trained.
Not quite cats, are they?
No. What am I supposed to do? Walk them like dogs?
You could train them to break into things. Little thieves.
We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to put a pin in that. Look, I've never wasted a resource all my life, okay? We're going to end up keeping that going. Till then, as far as Madame's going, good news. Not getting any worse, not falling any points of decay, and I think I might have even seen her start to scab over, so hey, there's a start.
I know it's definitely a burden on you to be trying to feed her every night, so
Yeah,
if I can
well,
help,
you can help.
I can.
The more that this all gets interconnected, the more complicated it gets, Hannah. I keep everything in its own little pile for a reason. Don't tell somebody what you were told. Don't tell when you're telling somebody else. Don't tell them who told you. I like to keep my sources separate, and with good reason. You might be new to this business, but you give them even an inch and they will end up taking your soul. That's the way this game's played. And the second you got bit was the second you signed up for it. Like it or not.
It's not like I'm doing it out of the pure goodness of my heart. I'm definitely doing it because I need you to be in your best shape. And I would like Madame to be on her feet again. You've been struggling.
Every night's a goddamn struggle. That didn't change when I was alive. That didn't change when I died. And I try my best to end up figuring out on how to make sure that it all ends up coming together. And quite frankly, I'm trying to end up figuring out how to end up running this whole thing because, well, frankly, I feel like I'm swimming upstream every step. Nothing you haven't felt, though. And I've seen things. I've seen a lot of things recently. The kind of thing that makes you wander into offices at night. By the way, stop by your little friend not too long ago. Like to end up saying thanks, but dear God, that place is a dump. Where do you find these people? Wait. I think I know.
I predict you would.
Dangerous taking blood off them, though. You know that, right? Don't need you suddenly end up needing to tap a new vein every time you need your fent fixed.
Oh, It's just,
I know. The best you can do with what you had, right? You don't have to like being what you are, and you don't have to. I'm not going to try and sell you on it. It sucks. But we can make it work for you. My biggest concern is your how would I put this politely? Your complete and utter disdain for the living dead. Don't blame you. I haven't seen many of them treat me none wiser. So, hey, why not? I get it. But you might want to end up keeping that one under wraps as best you can. Might make a few kindred worry, and especially with the overcrowding we have in this particular domain. They might get the idea the reason you're in the hot seat is because you don't have a problem with them tearing each other to shreds.
I don't think it's so much that I hate the individual kindred. Simply being undead. It's that thing, the hunger, the loss of control, monstrousness behind it all. If it was just animated, unliving, wouldn't be an issue, like a ghost.
Well,
It's not
ghosts
an
got
issue.
their own problems, honey. They got their own problems.
Sure.
I just want to figure out on how I can end up playing safe around you. Maytag, at least I know he's coming. Alex, I can at least end up accounting for when it's in her best interest to get rid of somebody. You, on the other hand, it's entirely a coin flip.
It's right about that moment that you hear a rather loud car start to drive towards the parking lot, which is a little odd as you see the vehicle start pulling up. Seems like a really loud sports car when you look at it. Black, slightly tinted windows. Certainly somebody wanting to make a statement. When the
vehicle like that. Go ahead.
Oh, and when the driver comes out, you do see that the door sort of swings upward. Is that a Lamborghini?
Yeah, somebody ended up getting lost.
What's a vehicle like that doing around here?
The driver stands up out of the car. You see a somewhat average-sized man with dark, curly hair, glasses, a white
He's actually
suit.
tall.
Well,
Quite tall.
Okay, tall. He's tall. Tall, a white suit, dark curly hair, glasses.
Hello, sugar daddy. Hold me back, Anna. I'm getting ideas.
You say this, but I already told you I'm not going to stop you from any flirting.
Oh, my knight in shining Lamborghini has arrived.
He does look a little lost when he comes out of the vehicle, though.
Mhm. Well, seeing how he gets to pay for that, start looking at him. This little tall drink of water. So, I look over the car. Look back over him. You seem lost, stranger.
You see his, if you approach him, you see that he was looking at the phone, kind of raising a brow for looking at the building again. And then his eyes settle, and you can tell by the look in them, he's not lost. He simply takes his phone, flips it back, his jacket pocket. Au contraire. I found exactly who I'm looking.
Who?
And he does not speak with a Texas accent, just to be clear.
Yeah, foreigner. Ain't that just exotic?
So, let's not mince words. Are the rest of you around, or is...
Rest of who around? Sorry, I don't think I know you. You're definitely not from my circles.
No. Let's call me an interested but concerned party for the time being.
All right, Mr. Interested and Concerned Party. He gestures to Brian at a scooch on in.
Maybe we should start with formal introductions.
Well, apparently he already knows who he's talking to. Just hasn't made proper introductions for himself.
You're right. And that's rude. I'm sorry. I am Luca Alexander. And I
Well,
am...
ain't that a mouthful?
Let's just say I own some land to the south of your domain that's got some things going on. And who do I look to but my neighbor?
And I kind of look him up and down, checking for the signs, pale. Look him over a bit.
He does have a pale pallor, and if you glance at his wrist, especially the wrists of his jacket, or rather the shirt underneath the jacket, you'd spy some very odd cufflinks.
I would have a guess on what I see. But why not regale the audience?
The cufflinks are gold with a black inlay and represent a crossed scepter and sword. The sign of Clan Ventru.
Well, don't that just suddenly add up a whole bunch? Oh, great. Well, formal introductions. Shriek. Anna. Standing here in members for the Primogen of Arlington. So, pleasure to make your acquaintance, so great one. He does kind of like a mocking bow with the raise of the hand.
Well, we can't half tell that you piss off your superiors, don't you?
Honey, I end up having a tendency to make work out of just about everybody. The question is are they entertaining or not? Don't be boring.
Then I'll cut to the chase. I maintain a parcel of land around these parts.
To the
Rather large.
south, I was paying attention.
Rather large ranch.
Don't look like the type.
It's really more an investment thing. Dallas Cowboys pay a lot of money. That aside, animals have been going missing. And this is the closest domain to which they could be going. And one does not simply steal a cow.
Yeah, and one certainly doesn't steal a cow and hide it in the burb.
Exactly, but if it's getting out anywhere, it's coming through here. And given that you are the primogen of this domain, how is primogeniture treating you? I wouldn't imagine it's the comfiest position in the world.
Oh, we're handling it just fine. Aren't we, Anna?
We take care of those within our domain.
So, unless you're losing some cattle trucks by shipping them off into the middle of Dallas, which I doubt, given your professional demeanor, I'm sure you have everything from the routes traced to what ranches are getting hit, where your cattle happen to get abducted, presumably. Unless there's something you're not telling us.
We track these cattle. And they don't stop in your domain, but they definitely pass through it. And normally I wouldn't. Truly, I wouldn't. But it's consistent. And given that you have enough eyes on you as it is, figure we shouldn't add more fuel to this metaphorical powder keg.
Oh, aren't you cute? So, Anna, allow me to see if I can serve as a translator here. He thinks that it's in his best interest to end up appealing to recent events and end up hoping to end up painting us in a corner in order to end up being able to assist him with this little ranch problem he has going, because apparently he can't keep a couple of bovine fenced in. They end up wandering out here, and he's hoping that that'll be enough of a squeeze to end up making us end up jumping to it and say, yes, sir, as he's often want to be. It's a good play. I like it. Really, I do. Problem is, why should we care when we got other spinning plates? What's a couple of trucks of beef really going to end up helping out with? Got a whole domain to look after. Can't spend dollar a nights looking for trucks with a
Oh
bunch of
no,
collateral.
no, it's not. See, that's the thing, right? It's not trucks. If a truck went missing, carjacking, thief, maybe goes to try and sell them off, doesn't get very far. I recoup my losses. No, it's individual cattle, and it's consistent.
And you figure they're coming up this way.
I
GPS
know that.
tracker? I'm pretty sure the prince frowns upon that kind of tech.
Oh, I'm well aware of Prince Wolsey's sentiments towards such things.
What, don't agree with him? I imagine not, given what you just pocketed.
I handle things internationally. It doesn't make sense for someone in my position to not. Seems more out of place.
Just upholding your masquerade.
As you all should.
So, Luca von Broomstick. Broomstick handle. Sorry, I get names confused all the time. I'm, again, going back to my question. Remind us why we should care? Why this should suddenly bump up on our priority list?
Because of the fact that I would imagine that a flayed carcass would probably start turning some heads. And
Yeah.
frankly, I would say that you could use as little attention to yourselves and the way that you do things as possible.
Well, not completely my call. What do you think, Anna?
I think it sounds like you have a poacher problem. You want us to fix it because you don't know how to handle it yourself, or you don't want to. It's minutia to you. It's easy to pick on the Primogen of Arlington.
Well, I mean, let's be candid with each other for a moment. It's not as if the other Primogen really recognize you as such. Which is a shame. I think you've got the potential to do some real good. It's not often that an office of one gets delegated to many. You would figure additional hands would be useful for dealing with problems. Maybe people kind of expect more of you because you have multiple sets of hands. And trust me, I know how that is. It wasn't so long ago that I was rolling in the streets myself. This isn't some sense of extortion or blackmail, mind you. This is quid pro quo. You help me, and I help you.
All right. Well, in what services would you be able to provide from the Von Broomstick Foundation, or whatever you want to call it?
I can give you an in to start turning eyes away. Because trust me, after did either of you watch the news last week? Because I did.
Tragic. Pile up. Accidents happen. Major city. Things end up happening. Road rage happens to kick in. Maybe just some moron ended up getting his truck dinged one too many times and had enough.
It's Texas. Things happen like that in Texas.
It was a big pileup. It's always bigger in Texas.
I'm well aware, but let's not. People talk.
They do. They do talk.
And the really unfortunate thing about when people talk is that when things get loud enough, people start to pay attention. They start to notice things. And if there's something that somewhat takes their fancy or seems off, they start digging.
You're trying to end up selling us on that. Yeah, we have a problem that we can't handle on our own in that regard. But I think you can help us. Absolutely, you can. You say you're big in investments, own a ranch, international, big wig, a lot of cash flying around in that. What do you think, Anna?
I've been thinking
You
of
wanna-
this whole time.
You want to
I'm
make it
thinking-
about something as paltry as money.
He looks to Anna.
It'll get a lot of things done very quickly.
Paltry is perspective.
It is.
For instance, to me, slaughtered cattle means pretty much jack shit. So I would say that's pretty paltry. If it was chickens, then it'd be poultry. But at that point, to somebody who's still trying to put food on the table, chicken goes a long way.
I mean, I can write you a check.
Oh, no, it's not a check. A check. That's not the big thing. You say you got investments. And you're big into quid pro quo. Right? So, we help you out in that regard. Maybe we ask you to pick up a couple of places, get them where we need them to be, and then just eat the loss at a later date and move on with your own life.
Real estate.
A little bit more than real estate. I understand that you don't think much of us, but try and give me some credit.
You see, that's not really a good assumption to make.
You came here with trying to end up putting the squeeze on us in a given predicament, trying to end up using a bunch of social outcasts, and then tried to end up leveraging a social position of a concern that ends up coming down to social dynamics, of which we've already been cut out of. For all intents and purposes, you're trying to threaten us with a gun when the building's about to explode.
You're not incorrect in that it would seem that most of the powers that be in this city have written you off. Your primogeniture is nothing more than placeholder, filling a hole until, you know, they decide to choose someone more quote-unquote competent. Again, what if I told you I could get you that table? Properly, this time.
You could. Gotta have a lot of pull with a lot of blood that I know. What are you thinking, Anna? Think this guy's on the up and up? Or do you think he's just another guy trying to make a joke out of Arlington?
I'm trying to figure out where it is that he benefits from that.
I'd be happy to share.
Why us, Mr. Brunhild? I mean, you can hire any mug in the city.
Oh, I could. But that's not what this is. It's not what this is about. See, I ran at one point with a coterie that walked a line. This was a city where the big old ivory tower had raised its drawbridge, and you had to beg and plead to get in, and the other side would quickly eat you as they would welcome you. Left you floating around with the unbound. Those that neither side really desired, or maybe they did and they were just hopefuls. Clawing at a door that they so desperately wanted to get locked. I am well aware of the power that can be wielded by someone in an underdog position. Which is, frankly speaking, where you sit. You sit on the other side of a door that some people are trying so desperately. If you wonder how the dynamic shift benefits me, quite frankly speaking, I did a little bit of research. This kinds of kindred that call your domain. A lot of really interesting names, a lot of really interesting faces, a lot of really interesting stories.
I'm sorry,
What?
I gotta interject. Is there a washroom break anytime between here and the fucking point?
You could go behind the dumpster over there.
Looks
The
a lot
point
like a
is,
Ferrari, but if you insist.
you're funny. Anywho,
Bitch, I'm hilarious.
not as much as you think you are.
Still better than you.
The point is, you have the opportunity to shift the power dynamic in this city simply by virtue of that placeholder title, quote unquote, that you have. puts a lot of boots to a lot of necks to go. Oh no, the quote-unquote placeholders are actually competent. And as for the prince, well, you see, the prince, it's not as if he hasn't made his share. Ask anyone who was around a few years ago how of us he was willing to put to the sword in the name of keeping everything nice. Look what happened. You hold a lot more cards than you know, and in that hand, dagger that you could do whatever you wanted with. If your hand was guided correctly. If you were given the opportunity. I can give you that opportunity.
I'd like to insight check that.
That's rather ambitious talk. I'd also like to insight that, because what?
What's an insight for both of you?
Detect lives. Detect lies, I would presume, would be a bonus here.
It would be a bonus for you. And for Luca, are you being truthful?
Yeah, yeah. He would put his onus foot to make that happen.
All right.
Yeah,
then it would be
me
a
and
charisma
Derek got
persuasion.
the same roll. Same roll.
Same rolls.
Cool.
Twinsies.
Same roll. Twinsies. We're both like, what the hell is this guy's game? What's this man doing?
The exact same pose.
Roll some dice.
Luca
Charisma
von
persuasion.
Broomstick Handle is throwing a lot of fancy words around.
Yes, he is. I suppose it's on purpose.
Yeah, I didn't pop it beforehand, so it can.
No, yep, just a straight charisma persuasion. Okay.
Alright. Okay. Honey. If you really think you can pull that off, well, then we might have something to talk about. And this is going to be about a little bit of cattle. What do you think, Anna?
Ambition is a dangerous thing. I think.
Daddy's
than you
speaking
know.
my language, though.
I think, truthfully, to assure this that there is a functional primogen in Arlington is necessary. And truthfully, that's all I really care about. Is stability. Calmer waters.
So, we accept you give us the lowdown on your missing cattle. We come down, we take a look, see what we can sniff out. And, well, either way it goes, we gave it our full attention. Now, we have a tradition here, because you notice that this ain't exactly the kind of place Harold decides to hang out, right? No real fancy bars or anything. So we actually have a tradition of our own here in Arlington, believe it or not. When somebody's offering you a boon, they give you something of significance of the moment, a reminder. And until it's returned, the boon's still not paid. So, in honor of that tradition, walks to the front of this beautiful car, grabs hold of the logo and just tears it off.
Oh. Well, it was beautiful while it lasted, huh, Luca?
It's 20 grand. And a trip to Italy.
I will treasure it always. And he pulls out pulls the fishnet that he wears and drops it in his shirt. So, let's go feeding together, make sure everybody's all topped up, so we're all performing at our best for our big day at work. And we're going to end up having a little bit of fun watching cows fart.
I've never gone cow tipping before.
Well, this is one hell of a tip. Can almost feel it.
This got into a very strange zone when in context of animals. Goodbye.
All right.
Let's go into a feeding scene. Get the hell away from this awkwardness.
Yes.
Not even the weirdest thing that I've seen in the past 2 years.
Oh no, yeah, we have one of the weirdest things you've seen in the past 2 years in our domain. There's also Gerard.
That's where y'all headed. Out into the street.
I'm gonna end up doing some feeding while I'm going at it.
All right.
Because I need to hunt.
You need to hunt.
Yeah. Stealth, dexterity, break-in, addition, and difficulty 4, if I recall.
Yes.
That'll do it.
Yep. In fact, you get to be a little choosy. You're kind of walking through the streets, kind of minding the different houses that you've visited before. Kind of almost doing a bit of an eeny, meeny, miny, moe in your head. That one sounds fantastic right now. They should be ready. They should be ready by now. And so you slip very quietly into the home of your choice. Slip in, get your drink. Now you are at hunger 3, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to take 2 and then rouse to try and heal.
Yes.
And
it does take that too.
I'm right back to 3, but I am healed.
You are healed once more.
So I have 1 more aggravated to deal with, and then I will be fine.
Fantastic.
I gotta feed too, but there's no easier way around it.
There's no easy way around it. So what are you going to do, Anna?
This is gonna be an odd one, but I'm gonna go back to Madame's old feeding spot, the hotel.
Okay.
Is going to just walking there, whether anyone is with her or not. She's gonna be unbuttoning some of her dress and making herself very much more scandalous than usual.
Taking a siren's approach.
It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way to get consent.
Yes, consent for the blood taking.
Consent matters. Okay.
Okay, so make me a charisma persuasion as per your feeding roll Or no, it's going to be a
If it's siren style,
manipulation. Yeah, manipulation persuasion.
Okay. And I can add specialty vessels to this, correct?
They are not considered your vessels.
True. Okay. Even though it's part of the hunting realm, but I am hunting siren style, so that's
You're
fine.
hunting siren
That's fine.
style. Yeah, these are people that you don't generally know very much.
Hee. Does 4 cut it?
4 cuts it. I will ask, how do you convince them to give you their blood?
I find someone who looks the part, the daddy type. It's always been a joke to Shriek, speaking about sugar daddies. Anna is going to very specifically call one. Get in touch with one. We're going to make a point of it. It's a whole entire scene, a whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, some way along this whole process, I convince him a little bit of biting, a little bit of play, very special type of play, knives, might just do the part of filling in a certain masochistic gap in us.
And that's how you convince them to hand over blood is
S&M play. Yeah.
You want to cut him. That's how you kind of pitch it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe he's not all for it. Not initially. But Anna is cute. She do got that looks thing.
So I'm going to make this a fairly easy roll for you then. It is going to be a charisma persuasion to convince him to consent to giving you blood. Since this is different from what you're usually doing.
Okay. That's a 3, and I'm willing to spend willpower just to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Okay.
I only have 2 dice to do it, but I... Okay, 4.
4 is plenty. He is persuaded. And you do
He's
not
into it.
You do not take a stain because he is consenting to the withdrawal of his blood. And so, upon doing so, you bite. And it's a euphoric bite. One that he simply cannot resist.
He brought a pocket knife. Just by seeing it, I knew what I had to do.
But you are at
It's
Hunger
dumb.
4, so you do need to make a frenzy roll. Difficulty 3.
Ah! Frenzy. What is my willpower? At it is that, and my humanity is at that. Don't fail me now.
Ooh, big money.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're
Plenty
fine.
fine. Plenty fine.
God.
Plenty fine.
Oh my god.
That little errant thought in the back of your mind trying to convince you to take it all. Take it all. He's giving it to you.
He's literally bleeding from his own wrist. Feed into me. Give me strength. Give me power.
You want it all.
I definitely want it all. But
You are in
No.
control. It is your choice. It is not an accident. What do
I
you
am
do?
only taking I'm only taking as much as I need. And as much as I need is 2.
Okay. 2 it is.
We'll figure out the rest later.
You lick the wound closed. You continue your little foray as you would. And when you...
As per Sugar Daddy material, I take some spare cash from his wallet. And the knife. It's mine now.
Okay. He's a little out of it, so he can't really protest to the thievery.
He'll thank me for it later. Him and his kids.
After all, you did swipe his business card.
Well, just to pay for the room. The front desk will keep it.
All right. Well, that's a couple hours under your belt. And under Shriek's.
Meeting back up.
Meeting back up.
Buttoning everything back up very much long before then. Prim and proper.
There's probably some watch checking over the course of this time here, Luca, as you're waiting for them to get back from their feeding foray. Is there anything you do in the meantime that you would briefly attend to?
Probably booking the repairs that need to inevitably happen.
For your Lambo?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Booking an appointment with that very, very wonderful technician and mechanic who has kind of become a personal, almost mechanic in a way. He still obviously sees other clients, as other cars do need to go through the garage, but you're among one of his favorites. I wonder why that is. Oh well.
Maybe because I gave him such exotic rides to work on.
Possibly. So, after speaking with your mechanic about booking that appointment, and the 2, Shriek and Anna, come back from their feeding, Shriek looking a little better than he had previously. He looked a little maybe banged up or bruised a little bit, but he's certainly looking better as of right now. Anna looks content with what she might have fed on today, so...
So, shall we get a move on?
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, goody. Shotgun.
Sure. And it's gonna be down to the ranch, I would suppose.
All right, to the ranch it is. So, driving to the ranch, it's a little outside of the Arlington city limits. And much like he said, it is a cattle ranch. It's got all of the appropriate buildings and machinery, and even has its own little side road to go through and toward all of the main buildings. Kind of almost like an industrial park in a way, except, well, it's beef cattle. So,
that's to say nothing of the really expensive-looking restaurant that's also on premises.
There's that too.
And that just fancy. Should be spending more time in there. That it looks like it ends up going more towards our delicate sensibilities.
And the last thing that you'd spot too driving in is there's an airstrip here.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! He's got his own airport.
And yes, there is in fact a plane sitting on the strip.
Okay, now I'm impressed.
And
You ever gone flying? I mean, besides through a windshield.
Luke just kind of side-eye shriek, like, that's not something to joke about. It's not like a hard side-eye, it's a, really?
He looks to you. Who knows? You and me can end up getting together and end up making me one of the few Toreador to end up joining the Mile High Club.
Anna makes no comment. She's just gonna let it roll.
His eyes tick to Anna for just a
Just-
second, and then they
She's
and then they
looking out
tick
the window and she just quietly mumbles to herself.
and then as he's looking forward, as they pull around to the basically to where he's going to hand off to a valet, he just shakes his head and internally is going, "She ain't no Toreador I've ever seen." Before he kind of gestures for everyone to hop out of the car, tossing the keys to a valet. It's like you can see the front, you know where it needs to go.
Yes, sir.
And he heads around to the back, or rather to the front, because the boot for these things is in the front because they're back-mounted engines.
Mm.
And he pops it open, and you see him pull out a case. It's a rather large case. There's no... and he'll once he pulls that out and everyone's out and the thing shows off, he'll just beckon the two to follow him.
Well. Mysterious case. Out in the middle of nowhere. Airstrip out in the yard. Missing cattle. Oh, this is just going to end up being all kinds of fun now, isn't it?
No, nothing untoward is going to happen towards you whilst you're here.
Now I'm just
Unless you make something happen, and in which case...
working on it. He looks you up
And
and
you,
down.
you just see him stop. And he slow turn and meets your gaze, and there's a particular steeliness behind it as the air shifts. And he pops Daunt. You don't want something to happen.
Okay, I get it. I'm hoping you're that forceful later on. Don't want to be falling asleep midway.
Getting funnier on the on the comedian portion, but
Oh, I'm serious.
not in your wildest.
Well, gonna have to satisfy for my nightmares then.
And as he enters, he's going to lead them into a back room. There's there's all sorts of different things that go on. The main one, there's some sale yard type stuff. There's an office, that sort of thing. He's going to lead them into the office, and basically he's going to sit down at the computer sitting there and start pulling up some GPS data. And as you can see, he wasn't kidding. It's singular cattle being dragged up and through the Arlington domain. So obviously you can see he was right. Kind of, confirming that. So, as you can plainly see, they're getting dragged up and through the burbs with very little in the way of stopping. They all end up around these sorts of areas, and they would end up towards, the more barren areas of Arlington, where they just stop. I imagine there's probably one or two that have gone a little bit further and landed somewhere in particular. I know bits and pieces about the domain you call home, but they're all ending up in one particular area. Do you know who might be out there? Because given how much a cow weighs, you can't just steal one.
Don't know. I've met a few individuals who can end up folding a car in half, so...
That was exactly my point.
So we're looking at a map where you managed to triangulate this, just to be correct, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, Coffee, would we know whose neck of the woods this would be in Arlington, or at the very least, who has the closest known location to it?
The closest known location of anybody that you know of is that bar that Gerard likes.
Hmm. Well.
And he doesn't exactly look like city folk either.
No, that adds up. That adds up. Wait. Gerard's a Bruja. Light bulb. Well, I suppose. Yeah, we know who you can end up asking. Gonna have to ask him yourself, though. He's very particular on making sure that he's always addressing things face to face. Very straightforward gentleman. You'd like him. Old timer.
Sure. I'll do that. You're coming with me.
Oh, darling, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Good to hear.
You can count on me, Captain.
It sounds like, right? We've got a place to go then.
You're going to want to end up stopping by. There's a watering hole not too far away and ends up making things particularly interesting. Also, you're going to want to end up being very, very mindful. It's a P's and Q's kind of thing.
Good to know.
Shriek, isn't that...
Isn't that? And Luca turns and raises a brow at Anna.
well-known acquaintance?
So we know exactly who to ask. Not exactly a local boy, but... And he's a little fancier in the dress code than you are.
Really?
Freak's got the biggest shit-eating grin on his face that he cannot wipe. You couldn't get that thing off with a soap water and a squeegee.
Right. Well, I suppose I'll see for myself and.
Oh.
Glances. Due time. Right.
Please.
Get there in something a little faster.
And why don't you drive shotgun? Ride shotgun this time. After all, you get the chance to ride in a Lambo, and you might as well enjoy the view. Don't worry. I'll be right behind Mr. Broomstick Handle. Sorry. Von Broomstick Handle.
How much is that one on your nerves right now, Luca?
Not enough to warrant a frenzy check, but I'm plotting revenge.
As you should. Well.
For the audience involved, just to be clear, I do not endorse Shriek's behavior and what he is about to do. Okay, this is the wrong way to play a Nosferatu in the presence of a Ventral. I'm saying that right now for the record. Shriek's just a little shit.
Setting the record straight. All right. Well, with that being said, the three of you hop into... are you hopping into the Lambo, or are you hopping in something different?
He's gonna go fast. So
Gotta go fast.
there's a Bugatti Veyron Sport sitting there.
Of course there is. Because
It's red, isn't it?
who doesn't love a Bugatti?
It's not. It's actually not red. It's a dark blue.
Dark blue. Ooh.
It's really sleek. And as soon as he turns the engine over in the car, hearing the revs, yeah, this thing go fast, very fast. Given that you see that he probably peels out of the like on the ranch grounds heading towards the exit, he probably peels out at somewhere between 120 and 180 miles an hour.
Anna is immediately grabbing the oh shit handle.
No. I think I can one up that one. Because as soon as he gets it, he peels in the back right behind Luca. And like, you seem stressed, starts trying to rub his shoulders, and then it probably forces Luca to put the gas pedal on even faster. All of a sudden, it's like, now it's gone from shoulder rub to hanging on to Luca for dear life.
And oh
And
boy,
look
it's
at
petty and it's beautiful.
Luca has noticed this. I'm sorry, but by the end of this, Shriek is probably going to end up with a pen through his hand.
Well,
I feel
he's
like
hoping
this
to
has
poke
happened
it some
before.
way.
We're making no apologies here.
But well, once he gets on the road, it's going to be more respectful in terms of speed limit.
Of course, of course.
But-
But until then,
But until then, you find
It's
yourself.
about 3 to 4 minutes of like 180 miles an hour,
You're lucky
And
that no
he's not
patrol
even
cars
pushing-
actually come out this way.
and you can tell he's not even pushing it. It could go faster.
It just simply glides on the highway over that. But you make it in a considerably
the
good amount of time. The bar that you've met Gerard at several times now, at this particular location. One of which times was an SI vehicle following him. So maybe there's some mixed feelings going on about this place between you and Shriek and Anna. Luca, what you see is what kind of amounts to just a kind of hole-in-the-wall bar that really has room for the bar itself, the stools that line it, and then maybe a couple of tables in the back that all seem kind of cramped together. It's very small. And you are greeted by a bartender who just kind of seems to be serving a couple of patrons. There's not really a whole lot in the way of patrons here. You do see a couple of individuals in the back that are kind of sitting individually at tables. All seem to be kind of nursing drinks. And the bartender greets you and says hello. Notices, Luca, that you seem rather well dressed for this place. Or Anna and Shriek look a little bit more like this would maybe be a natural setting for them. But Anna and Shriek, you do see that that Gerard is in the back, sitting at one of the tables.
I start walking on over there. Yeah, was gonna ask the bartender where Big J is, but I can see him right now. That's just fantastic. Let's go.
You kind of squeeze through, and passing the other patrons who are sitting at the bar itself, kind of watching the TV with some kind of sports game overhead.
Love sports ball.
Love sports ball. Might even be a Cowboys game. I don't know.
I was always more a hockey fan myself.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad Texas isn't very much a hockey state. But you make your way towards the back, and it seems that Gerard has noticed Shriek and Anna kind of walking up, and looks a bit perplexed upon seeing Luca. Kind of
Luca?
shifting in his seat a little bit.
Luca?
You don't need to
Gerard.
introduce us. So this is where you hunkered down, old man. Interesting. Real interesting.
Alright, what the fuck are you doing here?
you can hear Luca just lets out laughter. There is something that is amusing him very deeply about this.
Are Ventures supposed to laugh? I don't like it when they laugh.
He sounds like an evil villain when he laughs.
Like cartoonishly so. It's kind of weird.
I think you forget I can still hear you.
I know.
I imagine Anna's not saying that to Shriek. She's doing this like right up to him and still speaking like he's not there, despite the fact he's whispering directly into his ear.
And
And Luca just looks like,
I can still
We're
hear
clear.
you.
so we're clear.
okay. Wait. What?
It's funny that you're confused.
You mean that you could come here this entire fucking time?
Did you forget who I am?
No. But
Did you forget the things that I did after everything that happened? And the fact that I was able to do that in a matter of how many months?
I'm...
You think a private jet is beneath me?
No. But I... What the fuck are you doing here?
Now, see, that is a really good question. Let's talk about it for a second. And Luke is actually gonna just take a seat.
Oh, we should talk outside. It's a little too quiet in here. Jesus.
Alright, have it your way.
Shriek, Anna, Luca von Brunhild. You're welcome.
Oh, I'm aware. I found them.
Von
course.
Broomhandle has been a very, very good guest in our neck of the woods, and has made himself at the disposal of the local authorities in order to end up dealing with a ranch problem.
A ranch problem.
Outside, I'll
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah, outside. God. Fuck.
As soon as they get outside, Strake just puts his hands up. Okay, so I had this wrong from the start, so I'm gonna just clear the air. Okay? Gerard,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware he was already taken. You, And
Luca
I am
just starts
so sorry.
slow turning to
I-
Shriek with this wide-eyed look of, the fuck did you just say?
And I am so sorry. I didn't mean to come between you two. It's blame me, not him.
What? No,
Now,
what?
now that I no, I understand.
No.
It's a complicated thing, but I'm so glad to know that you two have come together, and that you still clearly care for each other.
Stop
So
talking.
right. Anyway, what he was looking for is some leather. I mean, for some cows.
Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. Now I kind of understand. How the fuck did I not put two and two together? Anyway.
His name was on the side of the building. I would have guessed you were just trying to get his attention.
No.
Oh, don't tell me.
Well, okay. Don't take this the wrong way, Luca. I would have reached out to you if I actually knew your fucking number. But long distance to Canada's kind of expensive.
Still care.
Oh my god.
I am...
And it's been 2 years.
You reunited them.
Okay. Okay.
They're long lost lovers.
Both of you shut up. he just gestures to shrink it up. Right. I figured that maybe it was just some errant idiot who was wandering under my land and stealing cattle.
No, it was some errant idiot being going on your land stealing cattle because I didn't realize it was yours.
You see, I'm not mad. I'm not.
You're Ventru, Matt. That's weird. That's
No,
worse.
No. I'm just disappointed.
That's worse. Okay. What's been going on? The last thing I remember was in the tunnels. I blacked out. And then I ended up here.
Well, let's put a pin in that, shall we?
Yeah,
He puts. It's good to know that I don't have to pay someone to strangle you to death.
Oh,
Really good to know that.
okay.
Because it's you. And quite frankly, I understand that, you have particular dietary requirement. Right? I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have my number. And if you lost it, there's this wonderful little tool. I don't know if you remember it. It's called Google.
Well, okay. Okay. Fun fact about that. Technology's gotten a little testier over the years about me. I don't know why. But,
Well, I mean, if I was to hazard a guess, it'd probably have something to do with it.
possibly.
Technology is weird with you.
Well, I've never been
Like-
great. I've never been great with, smartphones and tablets and all that other garbage. It's tech I don't never used in my life and I never really have any use for. This guy, on the other hand, this guy builds this shit. So, and among other things. But, yeah, it's just gotten finicky-er as of late.
Are you sure you're not just getting old?
So what they say is true.
What do they say is true?
Opposites do attract.
I can assure you, I have no
No,
feelings,
no, it's okay.
Luca, in that sense. In fact, last I checked, are you still...
Adriana would claw your eyes out, yes.
Okay.
Violently.
Yeah, I figured as much.
And
Oh,
I would hate to consider what she would do if she was given time to be creative.
I am so glad I didn't involve myself in this lover's triangle.
No, you don't want anywhere near anything to do with Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay. It's great.
Let's just to put a long story short, let's just say Gerard and I we faced an apocalypse together, him and I.
I honestly thought I was
and we
done
came
for.
up, and we both, well, thanks to me, You weren't. You're welcome.
I suppose I owe you my own life then.
Because I did kind of drag your ass out of there when everything was exploding.
Right, yeah.
Quote unquote.
We rewind the clock back a bit, a few steps, and apocalypse.
That's a
God, it's
whole
like a
nother
young
story.
It's like a young adult novel.
It is absurd, Miss Anna, and you are correct in thinking so. Because if I didn't see it for myself, I probably wouldn't believe it. But that being said,
You faced it together, so why
Look, I
why
had.
did you separate it? You worked so well together, apparently, didn't you?
I got
Oh, that's
ejected out here.
It was a thing that happened under unfortunate circumstances, nothing of his control, nothing of mine.
Things can get messy.
You know who we could blame?
I don't
You know who we
remember
could
the
blame?
last 2 years, honestly.
Now that's all. Maybe it got to you a little more than the rest of us.
Maybe.
Then again, given what happened to me, I kind of became inured to that entire thing. So
We were talking about a cattle problem.
yes,
Yes.
cattle problem.
So,
I know where they've been going now.
how do you want me to resolve this? Because it's kind of necessary. Not just for me.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm willing
Like
to
I
pay.
said,
I'm willing to pay
a
for
lot
it.
of small.
Da. There's no need for that.
Well, I went behind your back originally, and I feel like I should make it up to you.
Oh, and you will. Make no mistake about that. You will.
Okay.
I know of
But-
a really good motel, really good rates, no questions.
Ugh.
Probably the one that Anna was there earlier tonight.
And you see that Gerard just kind of cringes.
So this is what counts for Primogen these days.
They're not bad kids.
He kind of just pulls Gerard to the side and just looks him in the eye. You must understand how concerned I am. It's been non-stop.
I understand your pain. Now you understand mine.
I'd rather take another stint at the Shadowlands, thanks.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
I imagine at that point
It's
you
not
kind
like
of look over to Shriek and he
It's
just.
not like that thing's there anymore.
Look over to Shriek and what?
Oh, I imagine he's like, I would rather go to the Shadowlands. Takes one look over his shoulder at Shriek, and Shriek's just.
He...
Okay.
Okay, well,
We'll talk about the particulars about how you're going to make this up to me at a later date, because we are going to be in con. In fact, he pulls a thing out and puts it like it's a flip phone. It's not super complex. He slides it into Gerard's flannel jacket pocket. That you'll contact me on that.
you'll just have them and whip them out willy-nilly.
I have lots of things. Is this surprising to you? Actually, wait, no, it is. Because you and I didn't spend as much time together as, say,
Very different lifestyles.
a certain Ravnos that decided to be a pain in our ass multiple months.
Yeah, you and I are very different people.
Very long and sort of
he kind of just gestures to like what they're wearing. No, don't say. Revolutionary insights, Gerard. Thank you. You can tell through the sarcasm he's using it to cope with the fact of what he's had to deal with from Shriek all night.
Beautiful shriek. I love it. So,
But at least that's cleared up.
yes.
Means that now I can cover things a little bit better because,
And
from
Well-
what I've heard, things aren't going so well in a existential sense.
we're trying. But, can only do so much in the burbs.
Yeah. Planning to help out with that. What I offered these two in exchange for their assistance. I've got some pull in the city after all.
Some. But what do you hope to do? I mean, what do you all hope to do about the feeding problem? As it's a little bit, well, complicated.
Simple. How did we sort ours out in Edmonton?
Was that before or after I joined up with Vic?
Both, in truth.
Oh.
We're not going to get into an entire debacle between before and after,
No.
but both.
That's water under the bridge. But
Well, it's really simple. Just to clear it up. I mean, these two, sure, they're placeholders, but they still have the title of Primogenitor.
well, so did their previous Primogen, but Brucato up
Yeah,
and
they're
disappeared.
And where she is, quite frankly, doesn't matter in this.
Well, I kind of wish I knew, but
Doesn't everyone? But the point is, they still have the title, even if the others don't recognize them. So how do you get extra feeding? Simple. You cause one of the other Primogen to force the prince to make a forfeiture.
a forfeiture.
Mm-hmm. And it's a very simple way of causing a forfeiture. You make the Primogen recognize. Because right now they don't in anything but name. Am I wrong in that? And he glances to Anna and Shriek. Because you two don't exactly strike me as the boardroom type.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this idea that somehow forfeiture on the behalf of the prince and that not end up being us being ashed by the end.
I think what he means by forfeiture is that somebody gives up part of their domain to you.
Exactly.
Which space would be great, but is that going to solve the number of mouths we're going to feed?
No, but it puts a damper on the edge.
Because we recently just adopted a couple of Toreador, wink wink.
Adopted.
Yeah, they're in the
Tell
domain.
me more.
They live here now. They didn't before.
Then of course you're going to need more space, more bodies, food.
No, I think the bodies thing is pretty covered with them.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
No,
you
I
just-
think you should pick up.
We have it handled.
Right.
That's not. It's not what I was going to say. What's the problem that needs handling with these two? Should just be two more mounts to feed, right? And he looks towards the two of them like, "There's very you very obviously just hinted at something that you're not saying. You should say it."
Well,
Here, not now.
all things considered. We've been sitting for the better part of 20 minutes listening to you two rattle off back and forth about things that none of us, your primogens and your hosts in this domain tonight, know anything about. You've purposefully left us out of the conversation, much to our disrespect, and I don't appreciate it. So if you want information from us and any of the goings-on here, you would be respectful enough to include us in the conversation.
I am so proud of her.
Well, now that you've asked properly,
I shouldn't
be
have
glad-
to ask properly, Mr. von Brunhild. I am primogen. This is my domain. Our domain.
and you're right. You're right. All right. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way first. The little problem that I brought you on to handle has been handled. I will handle these specifics with Gerard and longer.
We would be
As-
honored to have you as a guest in the domain of Arlington.
As for the rest of it,
You can stay at my place.
I'll pass respectfully.
Just trying to be hostly. That's the word, right? Just kind of looks to Anna.
And your
Hostile.
hospitality is appreciated. And Luca ticks his eyes to Gerard for a moment, kind of reading his expressions. What I'm about to tell you doesn't fucking ever. If it does, I will know. And I will reclaim that information. Are we clear?
Crystal.
Good. So then, dear Primogen of Arlington, what do you know, Antonians?
Timeline, right? Means before the flood.
Yep,
Oh.
that is what the word means.
The flood that Noah made so famous.
Yep,
Yep, that one.
that one.
Anna, can I ask something incredibly rude of you due to your clan?
Shoot.
Can I borrow your tinfoil hat? I feel like I'm gonna need it.
I'm not quite equipped with it. I have leather, though. That's been discussed plenty of times tonight. I can offer that.
No, I think
I'd rather not discuss anything of the sort in the context of Shriek. Thank you very much.
You sure?
Positive.
There's plenty I haven't worn yet.
He just
I
kind
feel
of
like this conversation got real serious and then real weird.
yeah, it's been about the tone tonight.
Antediluvian.
Antediluvian.
I'm told those things are more mythological at this point.
You'd hope so.
You really would hope so. To put it simply, we fought one. And its minions.
Oh, don't remind me of Christian.
He was my friend before he got sucked into that shit.
Was he that much of an asshole before?
Mildly.
To be fair, he was a cult leader. Yes, he was that much of an asshole. The reason that club burned down in the first place is because he had his cultists literally firebomb it with Molotovs while standing there holding his arms in a cross saying, "Let there be light." Yes, he is that much of an asshole.
That's true.
And I thought I had the flair for the dramatic.
That was just a story that I heard.
Yeah.
I was,
said, mildly. He turned a bit more psychotic
predisposed.
after that.
But yeah, when I said Gerard and I faced an apocalypse together, I meant
It was either that or Edmonton was going to go up in flame. And we couldn't let that happen, now could we? So we did. Okay, so eaten by the Oblivion.
the world literally would have been bathed in darkness. That thing I warned you about. Yeah.
Like the La Sombras.
Yep. That one.
Exactly that one, actually.
Pure darkness given. Yeah, it sounds insane when you hear it. And trust me, it was insane to see, too. Wasn't pleasant. I ended up fighting it on the other side.
Kind of a genius two-pronged attack, if you ask me. But
I didn't mean to get over there in the first place. You have to understand, Gerard, what happened to put me over there in the first place was not intentional. It was completely accidental.
doesn't mean you didn't take advantage of your own situation.
I didn't have a choice. It was that or get eaten. Yeah, as you can pretty plainly tell, this guy and I kind of went through the ringer. Literal hell. Although, frankly, I don't know if I'd call the Shadowlands hell. I'd call them purgatory, limbo, whatever you believe in, like a middle realm. Not comfortable. Sorry, would not recommend. Especially when there is a literally millennia old, ancient, basically god trying to devour your very essence.
And you survived because the got sucked up and spat out here?
No, I was pulled back through. Happened upon a very interesting set of twins in their ceremony.
And then after that is when we went down to take care of whatever kind of ritual thing was going on. And then, next thing I know, I'm here. And it's 1.5 years later.
And I'm setting up shop back in Edmonton.
So, got a little fucky-wucky. Which also explains why I never did try and Google you, because I didn't even know that you existed still.
That does put a damper on things, I would imagine.
Oh, okay. And that explains why you say technology is finicky, because now it's like how it's hard for La Sombra to work with it.
It's a
I
working
guess.
theory.
Maybe. I don't know, just something.
Shriek, you remember Caden couldn't use a cell phone. At all.
Yeah. And I am also reminding myself that he himself is La Sombra, and now we're dealing with two people who claim that they ended up dealing with a antediluvian of the same situation.
Yes,
And
it's crazy.
One that they the one that they thought that they killed. From the stories. I did a lot of research.
They killed it. Yeah,
They think-
okay.
They
now I'm
think they killed it.
And Maytag's coming right for me.
Maytag? You mean Kane? What's the beef with Kane?
Not Primogen business. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what's about to happen.
You sound like you're...
Look,
bitch, let me explain, okay? It's really quite simple, okay? I start off tonight just wanting to end up spending some time with Anna, maybe go on a hunt, have a little bit of laughs, go about the business, end up doing what we need to end up doing to end up keeping this domain running nice and tidy. All of a sudden end up having a tall, dark, and suddenly end up showing up, and then end up having this whole situation where apparently cattle's disappearing. They're being brought into our domain. Have to go in over his place, and then finding out that his ex is actually in our domain, and that I almost got caught up in a lover's quarrel, despite on how much he really wanted to end up staying loyal to you. And I appreciate the Mr. Broomhand or Von Broomhandel. I only now really come to understand the depths of your loyalty to your partner. I respect that, okay? Polygamy's not for everybody. But then it ended up turning into a case where it started in from that. Then all of a sudden I'm given a heart attack if it was still beating in a goddamn Bugatti. Okay?
Trick.
And now I have to end up hearing about some antediluvian nonsense that you two have actually encountered has swung your ass all the way from Canada down here, and just so happens to put you in next door neighbor with the Von Broomhandel. And now that's going on, but now I gotta end up worrying about a lot bigger fish while you guys are asking a lot of awkward questions. And I have never in my life ever wanted a tinfoil hat so much in my life.
Shh, it's okay. He kind of puts his hands on your shoulders. I get it. It sounds crazy.
I know, he's hot.
What? No.
Luca just turns to Ada and goes,
Look,
any more mental gymnastics out of that one, I'm going to expecting that he's going to physically contort.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I feel like the entire night has been a mental gymnastic. So I'm with Shriek on that.
It's it's not like it really all that much matters in this particular situation. It's just where we come from, and We're batshit crazy for it, and that's what you can chalk it up to. Whether you think that I'm nuts is really not the problem that we're facing here.
I don't
We-
think you are. If I'm going to
okay.
be perfectly honest, at this point, we do know that we're here. I think the big question is, where are we going?
Well, to put the antediluvian talk to rest, our actions gave it a new sense of humanity, a new sense of being, so that it didn't end up blanketing the world in dark, given that the sun still rises. It's who knows where, and frankly, out of sight, out of mind. Trust me.
I don't think that's gonna make them feel better.
Yeah, no. Now you're implying that it could be anywhere. And that does not make me feel better.
We're just crazy.
Uh,
We're just crazy.
Well,
you really should not be saying that to the Malkavian in the room.
Oh, that's just ironic. You see him pinch the bridge of his nose, like, oh no.
Okay, well,
Uh,
that being said,
actually,
we have a
you
more
know, Jay-
immediate problem here, Luca.
no, on the cattle, we're sorted.
No, I'm sorted on that too. Where we'll discuss details later. Like you said, it's more along the lines of
What are you talking about?
If you need, we can. I mean, I know a few places in town. We can set up a restaurant. You all can have a nice candlelit dinner.
Look.
oh no.
No, I'm gonna make this as clear as I.
It's 23.
It's 2025.
I understand. It's 2025. You have it's okay. We're well past those points.
Oh my. I think you missed the bit earlier when I mentioned the name Adriana.
The mistress. Yes. I get how this works.
Right.
Oh, I am so glad she is not here.
Yeah. But yes, we were talking briefly, however
Yes.
briefly, about
The forfeiture.
The concession of domain to
Yes.
here to
Yes.
Arlington.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Okay.
You have a plan, right?
Gerard,
What?
it's me we're talking about. I always have a plan.
Yeah, sometimes there's shit, so I want to know.
That doesn't mean I don't have one. You asked if I had a plan. I do.
All right. Well,
It comes down to a couple of relatively simple things. Building an empire in this day and age it's not really viable. It's a lot of bootstrapping that you can't really afford because it taxes you far too thin when it takes you so much to just live.
says the guy who's got a private airstrip apparently on his ranch.
You saw it too?
I've seen it. I've been there. I was the
I
one
know,
taking the damn things.
I know, but seriously, enough room for cattle, a barn, a restaurant, and a working airstrip.
Yeah. And staff to staff it all.
That I'm not going to tell you about the massive R&D laboratories I up in Edmonton.
Next, you're
Anywho,
going to tell me it's a big underground laboratory that spans hundreds of kilometers.
No, not
well,
hundreds.
not hundreds, but you know, it is underground. Anyway,
Hmm.
The point I was making is that you currently don't have the resources in terms of the one thing that matters most to you more than money. And he kind of
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what we're lacking around here.
exactly. That means things are a powder keg. If they explode, people will turn their eyes to you and think you two in particular as incompetent. Weren't able to keep it under control. So the idea, quite simply put, is that you make this somebody else's problem. It's not your problem. Not after we're done. It will be someone else's. And if they have an issue with that, then, well, let me tell you, with my time navigating political situations, everyone has indiscretions. Find one, twist it, bring them down. It's not that hard. And given how Prince Wolsey is a stern individual, put it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really accept ineptitude. I mean, look what happened a few years back.
I wasn't here for that, but I heard stories.
As have I. There are ways to play on the prince's sensibilities. There are ways to get rid of people.
So, Mr. von Brunhild, you're speaking as if you actually had a target in mind. Be honest.
Not in particular. But it narrows down pretty easily. You see, you may have been cut out of the quote-unquote social dynamic, but you still have the title. That puts you quite a number of rungs above other people who hold domain in Dallas with problem. Can't go after any of your other fellow Primogen. That won't work. Too high of a target, you'll get shot down. But there are stragglers. There are people who are in much the same city, in the city proper, who probably aren't handling it quite as well. Don't have the backup of primogeniture that you do, even if it is in name only. You may not get recognized by other people, but the city has you. Doesn't have a choice. If they don't, they spit in the face of the traditions. Spit in the prince's face. With that title alone, you should have the ability to walk into a room and immediately one false slip and
You're thinking somebody from the surrounding area.
obviously. You want to make it someone somewhat close to home. Someone that you can, peek in on every now and again, keep an eye on. And you need not have them formally forfeit their domain to you. But you could pull them under your thumb. Make them work for you. Make them do what you need them to do. Get access to their resources. Make them part of your own building from there.
You suggest you would have sway in that regard.
I can tell people where to look for indiscretion. I can tell where to apply pressure. Slip a couple of words and a couple of ears, and suddenly things start changing very, very quickly. It's what one gets when You earn esteem. Given my support of other people's resources here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, that ranch being a prime example. It's not only is it a honestly rather nice barbecue restaurant. I've eaten there from time to time. Not only is it a private airstrip, so that every now and again someone can be ferreted to and fro without having to deal with the scanners in public airport. But it's a training facility used by a certain very well respected football team.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I think on that note, we're going to be right back, everybody. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Last we left off, the two members of the Dead Man's Hand coterie had just been speaking with Luca von Brunhild of Edmonton and their friend Gerard, who seems to also have been friends with Luca at one point in their existence. After a bit of back and forth, trying to determine whether or not Gerard and Luca had any form of beyond friendship relationship that Shriek might think is going on, and trying to piece things together about Luca's plan regarding annexing maybe someone else's domain into the Arlington domain as well, and trying to wrap their head around how crazy it sounds that Luca and Gerard may have faced off against an antediluvian and survived. There's a lot to be discussed between the two Primogen, and Shriek has pulled Anna aside to maybe walk and talk, discussing, as perhaps he wants to go out for another snack again. But leaves the two of you walking the streets together. So, what do you do?
Eeny, meeny, miny. Catch a tiger by the toe. He's just pointing at his houses as he's kind of
Trying to make a decision.
my mother picked the very best one, and you are not. So, what do you think of Luca?
I I'm still reeling from everything that they talked about. Quite frankly, I don't really trust nor understand Mr. von Brunhild's intents.
No, but Gerard certainly serves as a good distraction. So, you have that.
This is true. I'm still trying to figure out what it is that he really gains from all of this. No matter how I try to look at it, there isn't a benefit to him.
Sure there is. Would you rather have one debt to a one debt owed to you by a primogen, or 4? He's hedging his bets on whether, even if we don't keep our position, we're still going to probably owe him for something that he's going to end up trying to do. And it means that we're all culpable. If we no longer have the primogen title, it now means that each one of us owes him a debt worthy of a primogen equivalent thereof. He's not betting, despite his words, he's not betting on us. He's waiting for us to screw it up. He just knows we're in a bad enough position. He grabs hold of Anna's hand and starts pulling her a little bit towards a particular house, probably a duplex or something like that. And reaches into a small satchel at his side as he pulls out a small leather case that seems to be affixed with tools. Yeah, that one should do.
Shriek will notice that Anna is watching him very closely. What tool he chooses, what he's doing to the lock.
And I'm gonna make this feeding roll.
Yes, because I will want to know if there's somebody here who spots you, or if you are successful.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Oh, right, I had to refresh because I couldn't see my character sheet, so I gotta open that up again. All right.
Just enough. This one seems to be it. Nobody's watching. There's nobody around. Perfect opportunity to slip the little tool into the lock. Give it a few good taps on the inside, and presto. Door opens
And
without a hitch.
he just kind of brings Anna by the hand, kind of gestures for her to be quiet. And
Anna will go ahead and use Silence of Death.
She makes no footsteps sound at all. If she were breathing, you wouldn't hear her breathing. If she had a heartbeat, you wouldn't even hear that. She fiddles with something on her clothing. You don't hear it.
Oh.
She twirls her hair. In the dead silence, you don't hear it.
I make my way upstairs into the bedroom. Creep alongside and just kind of look over the person who's sleeping.
It's a woman.
I'm leaving. Not my type, but sure. And I reach down and bare my fangs and start to drink. As soon as the bite takes hold, I kind of just bring myself into a laying position, almost spooning with them in that regard. taking in their body heat, taking in, well, their essence as I start to end up feeding. I do so slowly. I like to take my time with it. Kind of looks to Anna in that regard. Gesturing, there's plenty of room for one more.
Anna, you would also know that perhaps this is an intimate moment that Shriek is sharing with you. You know that Dr. Vale has said that feeding is a very private matter between a kindred and their prey. That sharing what you do to feed is in a way a sign of trust, but also can be leveraged if you stumble upon it and they don't know. Knowing habits, knowing when, where, how, and why they do what they do. Especially when feeding is such a individual matter. Perhaps he's sharing a part of himself with you. The how, the who.
I don't take the invitation, but remain there, watching, very carefully listening for any noises around the house.
You hear
I'm also
general
just-
household noises like the heater, the water heater coming on, the occasional creak, ticking of a clock. Nothing out of the
Eventually-
ordinary.
I will put my back to the wall and just slide down into a sort of cradled position for a moment.
It probably takes him a full 10 minutes before he decides to stop. I'll take 2 points of blood at that
Okay.
point. It should be enough for my purposes at this exact moment. And after I lick the wound, I kind of kiss them on the temple. Proceeds to take myself off of the bed, stand above them, and just kind of leer over them for a moment. Kind of relishing that taste. It's warm, comforting.
Let's find out a little bit more about this particular person. It's not a very strong flavor. It's hardly even can be called a flavor. It's
Warm and wet.
It's
Really?
Yeah, it's good. It's warm. But otherwise, there's nothing particularly special about the blood, the flavor, or maybe even them in general. She's ordinary.
I look around and maybe peruse a jewelry box or something like that and just palm a thing or two.
Something that
As I
might fetch a nice penny if you were to sell it at a pawn shop.
I look over old photographs and I just kind of study them. I eventually move out into the hallway, double check that this person lives alone. If not, well,
They do live alone, but it's and in the photos, you see that maybe they cared for a sibling, a younger sibling, at one point. But that photo's kind of old. Maybe that younger sibling's moved out.
As soon as I finish up, I get to the hall, start walk down the stairs, and turn to Anna. It's not often I run into a kindred who's going to reject a meal.
It was yours.
We're in it together, Anna.
I appreciate it.
He continues to walk down the stairs and starts to look around the living room, starts to look into the purse, starts looking around for maybe slips a bill or some loose change, starts to look for contacts, or maybe even just has some fun playing with their phone. It's very clear that this person's life fascinates him in some way. He peruses the place not so much as a supermarket as the humans do, but as almost like an art gallery. He stops to admire the drapes, the photos, maybe the diploma on the wall. He sits at the computer desk, and when he does so, it's not immediately jumping on the keyboard. He kind of feels out their chair, trying to maybe adjust his posture, trying to figure out how they might have sat. And I'm just going to do a quick investigation roll while I'm at it.
Yeah, let's see what all you can find. If there's anything of note. Ooh. Well, that is indeed a messy crit. Because there's 2 10s in your normal and one in your one in your hunger dice.
I'm re-rolling both of those 10s.
Okay, so they turned into zeros. Okay, so that's
So
just
2 successes.
Just 2. Okay. You find enough. You find enough in jewelry and cash that you can maintain your usual lifestyle. There's nothing particularly expensive, but something to get you by for a little bit, at least for the next week or so. You find a couple of contacts in their phone, a couple of the usual, like a mom, a sibling, a few other family members. Texts going back and forth, kind of describing, this and that's going on. Seems that there's maybe a little bit of a boyfriend drama when it comes to the younger sibling who may or may not be at college. But there's mentions of this person being the person who is sleeping being kind of like a teacher. Their sibling being a college student, and their college student boyfriend on the road to being a successful doctor.
Huh. Wow. Probably blowing the prof to end up here scoring extracurricular activity points. Oh well. He puts the phone back to where he found it. Kind of just walks into the kitchen and pours himself a glass of water.
There's an assortment of open bills on the counter. There's a couple of dishes in the sink. There's nothing of any kind of any particular interest in the kitchen either. It's just the usual that you would find in a home.
He kind of Pulls a chair out, sits at the kitchen counter or kitchen table with a glass of water. Gestures for Anna to do the same.
She'll go ahead, take a seat.
I like this house. I really do.
It's very cozy.
He takes a glass of water and just kind of lets it brush over his fangs, spits back into it. Their lives? Oh, go ahead.
Do you miss it?
Every night. Now we get a small little thing. A small little trinkets, what we need to do to survive. We take. And occasionally, we get to be a part of their lives for a few minutes. We can be whatever we want to be to them. A cheating lover, a advisor, a leader, a follower, family, friend, enemy. You'd be amazed on how many people actually meet a real enemy now and again. Something that puts all the bullshit into perspective. We don't get to live like them anymore. That much, I guess, is obvious. But it doesn't mean we gotta be cruel about it. We can help it. Every time I come into one of these, I always wonder if tonight's the night where I'm gonna be leaving a body in a shower. Didn't have to do that tonight. So I guess that makes this one of the good ones. I'm glad you were here to see it. Not one of the bad ones.
I'm grateful for the little things.
Have to be. Attorney's a long time to just kind of ignore it. But here we are, able to just have a talk at a kitchen table. Don't worry, they're not going to wake up anytime soon. Done this a million times.
With the anemia, I'm sure they'll be sleeping past their alarm.
Wake up with a bad headache and just presume that was a rough night sleeping. Won't notice jewelry's missing for a long time. By the time they notice, it'll probably be considered misplaced, and most people don't count the change in their pocket. Not saying it's acceptable, but what am I gonna do? Get a day job?
I think,
Go ahead.
I think by comparison, I don't know how every other kindred does it, per se. And I remember some time ago, you told me that we just have to learn how to stay close. But protect the distance as well.
Easier for some than others. You think we're bad, you should see on how bad Toreador get. No, really. I've heard stories of Toreador who will stalk a family and try and end up ingratiating into them, maybe pretend to be their boss for a bit, or try and end up being the jealous lover, something bullshit like that, and they get so invested in it, they get so wrapped up in it that everything, every little thing starts to matter in ways that you wouldn't even think of. And then things go sideways and they, well, masquerade has to be maintained.
Is that just with Toreador?
No. They're just the ones most likely to do it.
Oh.
Read your file. Figure you should know that.
In my file.
Needed to know if I was dealing with a wolf in sheep's clothing or if I was dealing with something worse. We only just met. And I think you know dealing with Malkavians is tricky, even at the best of times. I'm being honest with you now because I think you earned it.
I truly appreciate it. I feel very naive. I didn't even realize I had a file. It didn't occur to me up to this point.
If it helps, wasn't easy to find. And it's not an official record. But your treatments. I guess, especially when was your age, I would have liked to have somebody to end up helping me out through those times too. Figuring it all out. You're lucky. You're a lot luckier than you might believe for a dead thing. Like I said, it's the small things that you have to appreciate.
I think the thing that makes me luckiest is definitely having somebody who are willing to act as mentors in that sense. You especially. I'm
Yeah, well,
still fuming. I don't like that Mr. von Brunhild shushed you at all.
why not?
It's disrespectful.
It It would only matter if I gave a shit about their respect. I'm not Maytag.
No. You are Shriek. And you are Primogen Shriek. And you've been watching out for me since the start of all of this. Not to worry you per se, but I pay attention. I see your unjust treatment falls towards you. And I would very much wish to do more to disengage that.
The fact that it happens means it's not happening to you. That's enough. Was told once by my sire, Malkavians need an iron hand in a white glove. Stern, but soft at the touch. They'll bite eventually. There's no reason to rush that. It's better to give them a chance to breathe their own. Get them to understand what they are. Sire figured I'd probably be paired off with the Malkavian. Sure enough, she was right. So that's what I do. Because I know how dangerous you can get. My clan and yours have a bit of a history.
Maybe so. Maybe it's just me being naive again and thinking that trend in a clan is not always the reality.
Maybe.
Myself. I'm terrified of a lot of things, but it's mostly because I know what I don't want to be.
A monster.
A threat.
Tell you something some crazy 2A chick once told me, and didn't really think of it much until I was already dead. Silly me. You're dangerous. That's just a fact. It's like you're built out of dynamite or nitroglycerin. Okay, that's just what you are. It's what I am. It's what Maytag is. It's what Alex is. It's what Broomhandle is. But that doesn't mean you can't do something with that. Doesn't mean you can't figure out how to handle it properly. Doesn't mean you can't be as safe as you can be. You just recognize that there is this real possibility. For instance, I find staying fed usually helps stop the worst of it. And you didn't feed.
I have complications, man.
What kind of complications?
I mean, you've seen the type of people I surround myself with. If you've seen my record, you know where I go.
Junkies, support groups. But I've never seen you get the shakes. Not like the way the junkies do.
It happens. I just don't show it.
Smart. Don't let them know. So how do I make sure you're as bloated as a tick without killing anybody?
I'm not built for interacting with kindred, but I understand people.
I also noticed that's dodging the question.
I'll have to think about an answer.
I think that there is a horrible truth. We rely on them. He looks up at the ceiling as though he's still staring at that bed. We need them. We take from them. Surround ourselves with creature comforts that make us feel like we're still alive. Funny how that is. I mean, all intents and purposes, we could crack open a graveyard, walk into a mausoleum, find one of those little stone slabs, just remove it, curl on in there for the night, put the slab back up, and wait until morning. And then rest, and then do it all over again. Sleeping among the ashes and the bones. And it would mean nothing to us. Not in a hunter-gatherer sense. So why do we do it?
So it doesn't get worse. So we don't harm people, so that we don't lose control, so that we can wake up the next night.
To do it all over again. You don't want to become a monster. And so I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. So if they gotta be disrespectful, if it's to me, it doesn't matter. After all, I'm a waste of blood, and everybody in the city knows it. Should have never been made. And you get the cover you need. Till you find your legs, at least.
It's not something you want to cover. Not for me.
I don't think want ever came into the equation now, did it?
Shriek. You can't cover for me for that. Not feeding. Just.
Can't or won't allow.
Can't. Because if you do, it's just.
It's just one.
It's a risk I don't want you to take.
Why would it be risky to me?
Because it's my nature. Look, I'll stay in control. I'll keep things handled. I can do that much. Pile up won't happen again. Nothing like it will ever happen again. I want to stay quiet.
If you're
I can
really
promise
good.
that.
If you're really, really good, you might be able to delay it for a little bit. But honey, fact is you might live forever. So to speak. And that means never's not an option.
They have to want it too, Shrink. Can't just do it. They can't.
Did you just say they?
We should leave. We should get going. Mr. Von Brunhild is waiting for us.
Guess I was right. He stands up and he takes that cup, dumps it down the drain, rinses it off, puts it back into its place. Starts to head out. He ain't sure to lock the door behind him. But he doesn't say anything through the whole trip.
Kind of walking back together in silence.
He's not initiating anything further.
Do you see anything more to Shriek, Anna?
She doesn't know what to say without being completely ashamed.
What's going through your head? as you're walking with Shriek beside you.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I can't just take from people. They have to agree to it. They have to, because I have to earn it. I have to prove I'm worth it. And that's not something that you just do. You can't just grab onto them and take from them. That's not for people. And I understand. I understand that what I need to do to stay in control of things is to do that, to feed, to take. I can't just... can't absolve myself of that. I don't want to. Because in the end, this is the only thing that feels human. The most human thing is asking people to allow me to take their blood.
To ask permission.
And I know, more than anything, that has to be my problem. My sin. My breach of tradition. I can't let anyone else be involved in that.
Because God forbid
Especially...
somebody find out that you may one day not take no for an answer.
I can't. After everything Shriek's done, I can't allow Shriek to be complacent to masquerade breach. Or even be able to take any heat from that. My head on the chopping block alone for that. Forever.
Shriek, what are your thoughts? Coming away from that conversation, walking with Anna in silence back to, you suppose, the bar?
Mm-hmm. Well, what am I supposed to feel? I made the mistake of opening up. I don't know, maybe youth and naivete does that to me, where, I'm hoping that because somebody might be a little closer to the humanity, that if I were to kind of showcase my attempt at appreciation, sincere as it was, and it was sincere, it's a roadblock. You'll get cut off at every turn. You just get shut out. You try and help, and they tell you that, hey, you can't. Just like I couldn't be Primogen either. Or couldn't end up finding some way to end up integrating back in a polite kindred society. I don't know why it hurts that much. Maybe it's a betrayal of trust, or maybe it's something else. But
at least you feel it.
Yeah. And I want to end up looking out for her because who else will? I'm with her more than her sire is these nights. And we're a coterie. And I'm supposed to end up looking after my coterie. And I'm the most experienced one of them all. Then again, I'd make a piss poor sire. Didn't have a good example of it going up. And I've been winging it with the twins, who it's very clear that they're ready to end up turning this whole franchise on a dime. I don't know what to do anymore other than that. Just keep trying. Because I got all these kindred waiting for me to bring home good news, to end up to saying you don't have to worry about starving, you don't have to frenzy. Have a nice orderly domain. And somehow continue to pretend like I know what the fuck I'm doing. And then von Brunhild. Yeah, I know how to say his name. Von Brunhild, he just comes in. Let me show you, I can just on a whim make your primogen title mean something. Being handed title of primogen. Because you can't do it on your own. Because you're not worth doing it on your own.
What does he know? He's a hack.
He's still better at it than me. He's got the cars, he's got the airstrip, he's got kindred who, even when he's going at it with them, they're able to respect him. Yeah, I haven't felt this way since I last encountered Jade's sire.
What was his name? Eugene?
I don't know. My mind's just lost in thought. Unable to keep a single thought in my head. I'm just trying to I'm half tempted to look over to Anna right now. That'll just make it worse. But hey, that's what I do, right? I fuck up lives. Starting to get pretty good at it, too.
You make your way back, and you do find that Luca and Gerard are kind of standing next to Luca's car. Kind of just seem to be casually talking about something as you're walking up.
Would it look like these two have been somewhat emotional recently?
Make a wits and insight.
Wits insight, huh?
Yep. And then both of
I
you make
mean-
composure and subterfuge.
Ooh, that is my best roll.
Oh, this isn't gonna end well for me.
He says with sarcasm.
It's 5 successes on 3 dice.
Holy shit.
Told you it was my best roll.
And that is a
Messy
messy
crit is what
too.
it is.
Yep.
2,
2.
2.
3.
You can see that Anna has something on her mind. She looks distracted. Shriek, however, he's kind of one of those hard to read kind of folks. But he's walking up like as if he's got the world at his fingertips.
Well, with the door I'm gonna open, if you please. Right, he might just. Another. Malkavian. Attracted, bothered. But not in the way that Malkavians usually are. They're always having something on their mind. Someone. Sometimes it's several someones. Sometimes it's the thought of ripping someone in half. Thank you, Todd.
Perhaps that's a thought going through Shriek's mind right now. Since you did messy crit, Shriek, you do have a compulsion. But I also think the Nosferatu compulsion would be applicable here. Where you need to find some kind of dirty secret to quell that little need for knowledge in your head. So, dice rolls will be at a 2 dice penalty while you're under this compulsion.
All squared up, you do? And he would look over.
I think so. Shriek. Did you have someone in mind?
Dr. Ian Keller. He made things in this domain difficult. I think it's only fair that he's the darling doctor would end up offering a little bit back. Call it recompense if it makes it go down smoother.
Who your target is of very little consequence to me. It's obviously not going to be me. Can't be me. Because there's nothing out here for you.
Maybe
Dr.
gaining
Ian.
in with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
No,
but
he's
then
not
you...
kidding. He actually bought them.
No, I know that. He's been regaling me with his exploits for the past hour.
I know, the man just will not shut up.
Same as ever.
No wonder you had other uses for that mouth.
God. I thought I was free.
It-
I thought I was
It
free.
does... No. It's been on my end all night. Enjoy that, Gerard.
I thought you were on
Truly.
his end.
That one was a stretch. I'm not giving that to you.
You're not giving anything to me. I told you I didn't want to get between you two. And I'd assume it's the old guy who's doing the giving.
What? What? I am not gay. And he's not either. Just the last I checked.
Certainly not. You know what, Gerard?
Mm.
Next time I come down here, I should bring Adriana with me.
Oh, I think she'd have a field day with him.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
Well, whatever helps in solving this sort of stalemate we have when it comes to hunger.
Doctor owns a hospital. Blood transfusions and all that kind of stuff until we end up getting things organized on our end for the blood bank. Should end up being able to be a stopgap. A little bit of extra territory gives us a little bit more hunting rights, gives us a little bit more breathing room.
That's
That
the idea.
would be advantageous around here.
That's what's to be provisioned, and that's the target. Okay.
Well, I suppose you have your job ahead of you, huh?
Look forward
Yes.
to hearing on how you're going to clear this with the court.
Who said anything about the court?
Underhanded, under the table sort of dealings? Is that what we're doing right now?
Oh no.
It's all under the table, Gerard.
I can guarantee that doesn't do anything for you anymore.
Experimentation.
I don't need to be the one to push anything to the court.
Yeah, I think that's
All I need.
kind of your job.
All I need. No, all I need to do is pluck some strings, and other people will do it for me.
Must be nice.
The entire point is plausible deniability.
Right.
So, you have your target. I'll get to work.
Does that conclude our business here then?
I'd say that it does.
Gerard, beautiful established. So glad to end it, me and Luca. You two should spend more time together and catch up. Old friends need to end up doing that from time to time. And City can get... So I have to end up asking, how do you have that kind of pull in court?
How do you have that kind of pool around here? You're never here. This is the first time seeing you.
Cowboys are nice, but doesn't account for you being able to end up changing a prince's decision. Not that easily. Not enough for you to end up doing it as a favor off of who's stealing cattle.
If you want to make change, you don't go directly to the top. It's like Icarus flying too close to the sun, you'll just get burned. Especially with Wolsey.
I never want to get close to that man.
Yeah.
I think he'd have it out for me just for being brouhaha. I'm lucky I haven't been scourged.
You pluck at a string that plucks at a string that plucks at a string, and suddenly you have a harmony. A ripple into a tidal wave. Just need to know where to push.
And I take it that means you know where.
I know people who I can talk to. As I said, no one's without their indiscretions. No one in any position of power doesn't have enemies.
Or skeletons in their closet.
Exactly. And Warzy, being as he is, doesn't really abide it most times. It's not that hard to twist an arm here or there. It's not that hard to make someone think maybe that person shouldn't be in power anymore. It's not that, as long as they're not too high up. It's not that hard to get someone with a bone to pick to finally go ahead and think about it.
Well, I guess that's gonna have to suffice for tonight. And since you have so much to carry on and our business is concluded, Anna, you might notice his eyes shift to you momentarily when he makes that last part of the statement. I guess now's the time where I just simply say, Toodles!
Toodles?
Shriek
Take care,
starts
gentlemen.
walking away.
Luca, Shriek says that. Luca kind of looks at the car. I'll drop you guys back off in your domain.
Kind of already are. Unless there's somewhere else you need to be.
I have somewhere else I do need to be tonight, but I'll take the ride.
Well, Shriek, you need me dropping her off anywhere?
I think as he turns, he'll realize Shriek has completely disappeared.
Oh. Sneaky. Sneaky one, that one.
Tariador, don't do that. He mad like Luca Bams for us. Go on, I'll drop you off where you go.
Catch you around.
Please
Luca.
Please don't round the corners too quick this time.
We're on actual roads, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, catch you around, Gerard. This time don't be a stranger,
Well, now that I actually have the ability to not be a stranger,
Yeah, then don't be. I'll be in contact. And he'd actually go over and open the passenger side door for Anna.
And Gerard makes his way back inside the bar.
Now we'll get in, thank Luca von Brunhild, and she will give him directions to Dr. Vale's office.
Okay.
And that's where he'll head. And while they're on the drive, Luke would be looking ahead. But he does actually speak. You have something on your mind. Penny for your thoughts.
Pick any of the subjects that you've opened up tonight. What isn't there to think about?
Yes, but that's all work. It's all not triviality, but it's a mire of minute. And I can tell it's not what you're distracted by. What is on your mind, oh dear children?
If it meant to protect someone, would you lie to them? Even though the truth was important.
In truth, if the person mattered that much to me, I would do whatever it takes. Even if it meant damning myself to hell.
And I think that makes two of us. Though, all the more frustrating how little I can do. And she looks out into the city.
That's how it is when you're young, and I can tell. I'm not much older, truth be told. Most of my learning came at the cost of, well, fighting something out of a to those who believe in kindred religions, something quite literally out of their Bible. And I gather the feeling that and I think Freak might feel the same. I'm not sure I really have that much of a read on him, but as you said, you don't feel like you can do anything, or that you can do very little. And you've been thrust into a situation where the world is expected of you. The bright, shiny lights and golden plaques of being Primogen.
You're completely right to say that I don't really understand or am fit for court. I know someone who is.
Maybe. Maybe you do. But being picked by the prince as a member of the Primogen Council, it's like planting a seed. You can control where the seed is planted. You can control how it grows. But it's only going to grow into one kind of plant. Plant a peach seed, you get a peach tree. It's very simple. Much the same with working inside the bounds of title, tradition, and everything of that such. You may not feel like you fit, but you were picked. And that might put a massive amount of expectation on you to rise to the occasion, to gain the respect of your fellow Primogen, of the people who would look up to you. And in so doing, it may force your hand to do things that are unthinkable, horrifying, atrocious. It's somewhat why I have an interest in showing you because I'm not going to teach. I can't. That I don't know myself. But what I can give you and what I can given what you've been given, depending on which way you want to look at it, you could say burdened with, you could say blessed with, you could put it in any number of different ways. But you've got it. And so all I can teach you to do is how you gain respect with the people that matter in the city. The people who have established themselves, who consider themselves the movers and shakers.
I appreciate the mentorship where I can take it. You said you were possibly not that much older than myself. How old does that make you?
Time is a kind of a fickle thing to me. I was across the veil for so long, but maybe so little that I don't even know how old I am anymore.
But to me, for the sake of all necessary respects, how many years embrace? I've only been embraced 2. Which makes this all the more silly.
If I'm remembering correctly, it would put me at about 15. If my assessment is correct, it may not be. Said the other side is a horrifying place. Time doesn't really have a concept. Taste by some. Really, it's a force of nature more than anything else. Was. Don't know what it's like now. Frankly, I don't care to know. The further it stays away from me and the further it stays away from everything else, the better. At the very least, it has enough understanding of humanity now to not devour everything in its path. But you also asked earlier, what do I gain from this? I don't gain anything more than setting things as they should be.
Setting
said.
things as they should be.
What you said earlier was correct. You were Primogen, and yet I was not necessarily giving you the respect that your title bestow upon you. That your title would command. And you're right. But there's something to be said about that.
Well,
You can't very well demand that respect without a certain level of gravitas to put behind it. There is a reason why whenever a Primogen walks into that, barring somebody like another titled member of the court, prince, or someone higher up the chain, pray that you never run into them, whenever they walk into a room, all eyes are on them. They hang off your words. For you are one of the few who has permission to cut and leave. Or that's how it should be. But you don't have that. And quite frankly, I could not in good conscience give that to you if you yourselves are not worthy of such things. And I don't mean worthy in some sense of some vague sense. I mean worthy in the sense of simply walking into the room wielding that gravitas. It is a weapon as well as a shield. And this is something that I personally cannot abide. And so befits my standing as a member of the esteemed Clan Venture. It would be remiss of me to not help in a way that I can rectify this. So that when the time comes that you truly need it, you have that there, ready. Not just you, but... And... I believe there were more of you. There are more of you, yes?
We've been busy these nights.
I would have figured.
The only times we have tendency to meet all at once, rare and few, and often involving Primogen affairs, very directly, such as the Council and Elysium. Perhaps that's part of our problem. Still lack the capacity to cooperate as a group. Because most of us, honestly, are still trying to find some footing in the city.
And this exercise is meant to be multi-pronged in that it takes the edge off of your powder keg, but it does get you a foot in the door. A door that others have been closed on. Something that I equally cannot abide. It may sound hypocritical to say this given my behavior tonight. However, I didn't do what I do not to shut you out but to make a point. They do it because they don't believe you deserve to door. They do it because, if I'm to be honest, an entire coterie as a Primogen is something that they would, quite frankly, be rather scared of. Because again, you're talking multiple sets of hands versus one set. That set may have decades more experience and additional abilities that even we creatures of the night would consider to be unnatural. Even to us who are unnatural. And maybe you do not match the minions in mean. But what you lack in that you have in multiple perspectives. Multiple sets of eyes. You wouldn't believe how much ground you could cover just by simply having a set of eyes and ears at a particular place at a particular time. And I believe you can meet that expectation given time. To the point where even the prince himself would not be able to turn a blind eye to you. That he would be able to take stock in his decision. Especially if his, the ones who inevitably reign over him come knocking on the door. Because they do, from time to time.
And isn't that a prospect to think about? But I suppose that's going to mean we're going to call the session for tonight. We will come back next time with Anna meeting with Dr. Vale, because I know that's what you wanted to get around to tonight. But
it's minutia. Honestly, we could just resolve it as like the beginning of the next night.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Well, thank you guys so much for playing my three players today, because I had a special guest, Lethality Complex, all the way from Australia, coming up and playing with us tonight. As
It feels good to be back in the it feels good to be back in the fucking saddle.
This man does
Loved
not
it.
get enough TTRPGs, and so now that I have him on Saturdays and have him occasionally
Give me more.
for these, I don't know how long you might have, for your winter break for things like that, but we will enjoy your presence for as long as we have it, good sir.
So long as you're willing to have me.
I am always willing to have you. You are a shoo-in, more or less, in my games. So, but that being said, we do have our 2-player characters. Lethality is playing an NPC. We do have our 2-player characters who we must decide on some experience points for them. So,
Yeehaw.
yeehaw. If you had some willpower to recover, go ahead and recover that. I don't think we have any stains that we need to issue or resolve, so we can go behind that, which means we come to experience points. You both get 1 for joining the table today.
Participation reward.
Yay!
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Now, I am going to give Lethality a vote here as we go through the roleplay prompts as to, between Shriek and Anna, who had our best scene, who had our best line, and who moved our plot the furthest between the two of them. So, if there is a tie, Lethality, you will serve as tiebreaker. So, who moved plot?
Gotta
Anna.
give it to Shriek. What?
First one out the gate is a tie already.
Make thine cases.
Make thine cases.
I'll start. Shriek did most of the social maneuverment and engineering in that regard. Did a lot of the planning, the setup, and the major roles. Anna was just there for backup support. It was like, yeah,
Hey,
go
what
team.
Anna closed the deal. Anna ended up investigating more into things than I did after the fact between Gerard and Luca. Anna also has the pendulum in the air when it comes down to the will she, won't she tell what Shriek what's actually going on. She set up the situation and ended up showcasing the intercotery maneuvering that ended up changing a bit of the dynamic of said coterie. And has effectively ended up putting herself in this point of actually kind of isolating herself from the greater whole, which is not good for a Malkavian nor Anna. So there you go. 5 plots, all pushed because of Anna.
I have to agree.
All right, Anna.
Anna, that's yours.
Ouch. Okay. Thank you.
Best scene.
Anna and Luca in the car.
What? I like the one with Anna and Shriek. They were alone for a moment. There's a lot of things I want to say Luca on because a lot of shit was just funny in general, but
I mean, that was basically 2 NPCs just spatting at each other, and I had help. So
You're welcome. That is still resounding as an Anna win to me. So
oh.
now best line.
Yep,
Luca
Anna gets
von
best scene.
Broomstick.
Luca von Broomstick.
Mr. Broomstick. Sorry, Von Broomstick.
The entire session.
It's only his private moments does he actually say the name fully, so he knows what his name is. It's not a matter of mispronunciation. He is choosing to do this.
Oh yes, it is voluntary. It is on purpose. Well, I'm guessing that's an agreement. That's Shriek on that one.
That's Shriek.
All right. Well, we've got the audience XP that we're still going to be concluding the poll here in just a little bit. Pleasure to have you, as always, Lethality.
Lethality, I miss playing vampire games with you.
Likewise. Oh my fucking god, likewise.
We want more Lethality Complex. We love him. We love him at our table. We love Derek at our table, and we love Spectre at our table too.
They tolerate me. They really, really tolerate me.
I mean, you bring iconic characters like Amber and Noel to this whole goddamn universe.
Amber.
She's iconic.
Look. I took what I was given and I ran. I had an idea. I took what I was given in terms of revamping that idea, and then I ran with it. She wouldn't exist as she does without you.
See, Rose Wolf agrees with me. More lethality, please. And Shriek, you get the audience favorite from tonight. Thank you, Ravenstar, for contributing.
As he should. As he should.
As he should.
As he should.
Well, that does finish us up for tonight. Hi, Felix. I have a boy, and he is being a good boy. But that being said, we're gonna find a channel to raid and say goodnight. If you somehow stumbled onto this show via YouTube, you should come over to Twitch because we do these things live. And if you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, you should, because I post all of my VODs from all of my stories, be it D&D and Vampire, on that channel. Hi. Hello, boy.
Felix just wants all the attention right now.
He do. He's demanding. He's a good boy. Yes. But, yes. Discord and YouTube links have been posted by Raven. She is an awesome mod. We love her.
Thank you, Raven.
Yes, thank you, Raven.
Thank you, Raven.
And again, thank you to my cast and to my guest for being such lovely players. And until next time, everyone, say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.